You cannot achieve your New Year's resolutions if you're still making them without a plan. Hi, I'm Sambi and I'm a fitness and nutrition coach, and I'm passionate about helping you achieve your fitness goals without sacrificing the things you enjoy in life. In this video, we'll discuss mindset shifts you should consider making going into the next year, and then go into an exercise that can help you figure out what it is that you truly want to accomplish in the next year and how to achieve it. I used to feel like garbage every December. I would feel this impending sense of failure because I hadn't hit my New Year's resolutions. Or in some cases, I'd look back at my New Year's resolutions and realize I'd completely forgotten about them, and then I'd feel even more crappy for not even caring enough to remember them. But I can say with all honesty, I've gotten really freaking good about hitting my goals in the past year. This past year was an incredibly big year of growth for me. I snagged a job that pays well, I became certified in both fitness and nutrition, I launched my own coaching business, I repaired my relationship with food, and I made a ton of growth as it pertains to my relationships with people around me. Overall, this was a rock star year for me, and I want you to have the same going into the next year. It all starts with your mindset. The first mindset shift is understanding that life comes in seasons. When you are constantly connected to the world via social media, it can feel like everyone around you has a perfect life and everything is going well for them all the time. That's simply not true. Even the most successful people that you can think of will have bad mornings, bad days, bad weeks, months, sometimes even years. Just like the world around us, we have our own seasons. In the same way that there's winter, spring, summer, fall, in our own lives, there will be seasons of sadness, new beginnings, growth, success. It is unrealistic to imagine that we will be happy and thriving 100% of the time. Having phases of muck is normal, and for that reason, I really encourage you to get comfortable with that. Muck can be dealt with and it sucks at the time, but remember, it is temporary and it is inevitable. Learn the self-care skills that can help make those downswings more bearable and strategies to help pull you out of the muck when necessary. But remember, you're not alone in this. You're not a failure for having some downswings. It's entirely normal. Life moves in seasons. Next, welcome abundance into your life. So what is an abundance mindset? I would define it as the mindset that there will always be more, as opposed to the mindset of scarcity, which believes there will never be enough. You can apply an abundance mindset to all areas of your life: career, money, health, relationships. When you shift your mindset to that of abundance, it is way easier to act with authenticity and do things that align with yourself and your own values, rather than doing things out of fear. For example, apply the abundance mindset to dating. In a scarcity mindset, you may ignore all the red flags while dating someone out of fear of being alone or fear that someone else may not come along. But in the abundance mindset, you can look at your relationships and realize that there's an abundance of people in the world. You don't need to settle out of fear. When you have an abundance mindset, it is way easier to welcome the right things into your life. When given opportunities that aren't a good fit for you, you can comfortably say no, because you know that there are other opportunities that will come, better opportunities even. Having an abundance mindset can be difficult. We all have been wired since we were children to have certain beliefs about ourselves. For myself, I've been working hard to unlearn a lot of things surrounding my mindset and money. I truly believed that I didn't deserve to have a lot of wealth. I had to do some deep work on why I felt like that, look back into my childhood. I realized that things like my single immigrant mother being stressed about money constantly, not being able to afford a functioning air conditioner while living in Florida, not having a washer and dryer, all of these things impacted me, and growing up, it always felt like there was never enough money. These feelings of scarcity followed me well into adulthood, and I'd be so neurotic when it came to budgeting and so fearful when it came to spending anything that I had to sit myself down and write down all of my fears surrounding money. This sucked. This was a painful process. The fears kept coming, but this was really important. And for every fear that I wrote down, I would then try to write the opposite. So for example, I'm afraid I won't make rent. What's the opposite of that? I can comfortably pay my rent. And when I sat and thought about it, that was true for me. For whatever reason, I held on to this narrative in my head, this fear of not being able to pay my bills when I'm totally in a spot that I can. But I just kept holding on to that negativity and holding on to this narrative that I'd held in my head forever. After I had this realization, I worked towards taking actions of someone who would have those opposite, more positive beliefs. You know, it wasn't so much that I was faking it till I made it, but really it was about me stepping outside of my own self-limitations and instead being someone who just wouldn't have these beliefs anymore. A lot of us hold self-limiting beliefs about ourselves. We tell ourselves the same story about ourselves over and over. It becomes really hard to grow when we keep thinking of ourselves in a certain way. When we do this, we don't allow ourselves to grow. And when we do this, we will often wind up self-sabotaging ourselves because we don't believe we deserve things due to this internal scarcity mindset. In a scarcity mindset, you wind up doing so much out of competition, but understand someone else's win is not your loss. I used to be so fearful that I wouldn't make it as a fitness coach. There are so many fitness coaches out there, but that was such a self-limiting belief. The fact that there are so many coaches just proves that it's possible for me to succeed as a fitness coach. Other coaches under an abundance mindset are not competition. They are peers, they are coworkers, collaborators, they are my inspiration. And when I view other people in my field as peers or collaborators, and I take the time to celebrate their wins and not think of them as competition, I'm able to welcome back that same positive energy into my life. The last, but probably the biggest change for me was to let go of perfectionism. Yes, I know. This one is hard. I'm a Virgo, trust me, perfectionism runs in my veins. It has been such a long journey to work past perfectionism. But when we are perfectionists, we become so highly critical of not just ourselves, but also other people. It can lead to attempting to control things that are just out of our hands and sometimes even other people. When you go in with an all or nothing mindset that things need to be perfect, anything less than perfectionism is a failure, and really, perfection itself, when you go in with an all or nothing mindset, well, you set yourself up for just a bad time because perfection is impossible. Being a perfectionist would leave me in cycles of analysis paralysis where I couldn't even start projects because I just needed it to be perfect. I would sit spinning my wheels, too fearful to even start projects. I realized that being a perfectionist made me a highly critical person with unrealistic standards, and that was constantly driven by fear. Remember what I said about scarcity? I was constantly upset because I wasn't meeting goals, really unrealistic goals, and this deeply impacted my self-esteem. If you're someone who is like I was and a chronic perfectionist, I highly encourage you start taking steps to work past this. Be around accepting people. Do your best not to compare yourself to others. Practice mindfulness. Read into therapy techniques that may help benefit you, like CBT or ACT. Take time to journal and help yourself understand what led you to this point of needing perfection and why, and see what you can do to heal that part of yourself. The reason that I believe these mindset shifts are so important going into the new year is because if we go into the new year with beliefs of scarcity, we will not achieve our goals. We are our own self-sabotagers. If you don't in your heart believe you deserve something, it often won't happen for you. You tend to self-limit yourself. You get in your own way. So really sit with yourself and think about how you can accept your seasons of change in life, how you can let go of perfectionism, and how you can welcome abundance into your life this next year. So when planning what comes ahead, first we must look back. Get out a notepad, journal, Google Doc, and take some time to reflect on these things. Let's start with the yays. Write down things that went well this year for you. What are your proudest accomplishments? When were you happiest? When did you feel most like yourself? Who were you happiest around? Now let's look at the nays. What wasn't so great? What didn't work for you? What things left you feeling upset? When did you act out of alignment with yourself? Who were the people that made you feel icky? Next, I want you to consider your North Star. What is your reason to get up in the morning? What are you passionate about? What do you think you're placed on this earth to do? And it's okay, you might not have this yet. I feel like I really only figured this out for myself the past 2 years, and I'm 28. Look at your yays and nays of the last year. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? Thinking about these things can help nudge you a little further in understanding what drives you. Because when you understand what it is that you want in life, what it is that keeps you going each day, it is infinitely easier to figure out what you want for this next year. Next, I want you to consider what you will make most important this year. This is the wheel of life. Think family, relationships, romance, work, money, fun, community, spirituality, health, mental health, self-development. Yes, all of these things may be important to you, but in the words of Oprah, you can have everything, but you can't have everything all at once. Rank all of these things in order to help you determine what is most important for you this upcoming year. Like I said, we have seasons of life. Do not feel bad about what is important to you right now. There is no wrong answer. This is your life. For me personally, health, mental health, and self-development were my biggest priorities for the past 4 years. They came above everything else. But I'm at a point now where my mental health has improved so much. Fitness comes so naturally to me, and self-improvement is just kind of part of who I am now, that I have time to focus on other parts of this wheel of life. Sometimes I'd feel bad that I didn't have things like friendship or family higher up on my list of priorities, but at that time, I really needed to focus on those things, and that was okay, and that's what I needed during that season of zombie. Consider your yays and your nays, your North Star. Which of these things do you want to put most of your effort into in the next year? Pick 2 to 4 of these values. They will help you set your goals. You now have a great resource bank of reflection on both this past year and yourself. Your yays, your nays, your North Star, and your values. You are now equipped to start picking some goals to work towards for the next year. Consider your yays and nays if you're having trouble coming up with goals. Do your goals align with your values? Do they align with who you are as a person? Sometimes I find we'll make goals just because it's something we think we should be doing. Reflect hard on these goals and determine for yourself if and why this goal is important to you. As you write these goals, be realistic. You actually believe you can achieve them? Again, we tend to self-sabotage. Pick things you believe you can actually do, or else you'll likely just get in your own way. This is why it is so important to embrace an abundance mindset. If you're still holding on to scarcity, a lot of goals will be infinitely harder to reach. Now that you have your list of goals, pair these goals with a habit so that they can become a reality. Do you want to put on muscle? That's an awesome goal, but how will you get there? I will go to the gym 3 times a week. Awesome. Do you want to start a savings account? I will put $500 away each month. I want to get monetized on YouTube. I will set aside 5 hours a week to create videos. Think about realistic habits and things that you can do to successfully reach your goals. Small, sustainable changes can create a huge snowball effect. Next, create a visualization of your next year. If you're a writer, maybe write out how your next year will look, who it'll be with, what you'll do, how you'll feel. If you're someone more visual, a mood board is awesome. Find images on Pinterest and create collages on a platform like Canva. This is a mood board. Find things that inspire you and make you feel good. Set this as a wallpaper or pin it somewhere where you can see it and check in on it whenever you'd like. It is much easier to accomplish things when you have a sense of what that'll look like. Next, create a check-in schedule. I would recommend at least quarterly. Put time on your calendar to look at your North Star, look at your goals, look at the habits, look at your wheel of life and values, and think about the yays and nays of the corner. What's working for you right now? What isn't working? It's okay to shift your game plan throughout the year. Check in with yourself to see how working towards these goals is going. And honestly reflect on if these are still the things you want. And if they are the things you want, see if you need to change your plan to get there. Letting go of a perfectionist mindset can really help you let go of an all or nothing attitude. Our wants and needs do change, so if you hit a spot of reflection and realize that you want to pivot, that's okay. I'll be doing all the things I mentioned so that I can make sure this next year I can go in with confidence that it's going to be a great year. I'll be putting up a video soon of my own goals and habits I'm working towards next year. If you're someone who is working towards better health, hit subscribe below. I love making content to help you learn how to get out of your own way and build the life of your dreams. See you next time.